Gerard, I was saying for people who may not have been watching or were distracted, I was attemptedly robbed of 692 Rand this morning from someone I'd never heard of, claiming that this was a debit order, that it went out of my account. Phoned the bank, asked them to reverse it, which they did. I said, who are these guys? Are you going to find them, these criminals? And they said, well, we don't know. We don't know who they are, and maybe we won't find them. So it really seems like you've got to be so vigilant, and with all the technology, voice passwords, etc., they can still get in.
Yes, David, I think the reality is where there's financial reward involved, people are going to find unique and innovative ways to get at your money. It's a very lucrative industry, if I can put it like that, with lots of people trying from high-tech to low-tech technologies. The specific attack, if I've got a brief summary, sounds like in one of the authenticated collection challenges. It's an area that the South African banks, together with the Payments Association of South Africa, is working hard at addressing. It's called authenticated collections, and what they want to bring in is effectively the same techniques that today you'll find in a lot of the South African banks employing, where when any risky transaction happens or new event happens, the bank will actually reach out to the customer and get his consent before doing it.
Well, in this case, they alerted me that a debit had already been paid out, which they then reversed. What interests me is with the technology that they have, that they cannot make it secure and that they cannot find where this money has gone. Is it not possible to find, if it's a bank transfer, which bank it's gone to?
I think definitely they can track the money quite quickly, but remember the attackers have got a range of systems set up and they know how to move. They will, for instance, set up a number of mule accounts that they will very quickly transfer money into, and then have people on standby, maybe with ATM cash out transactions, or being able to move the money into Bitcoin or into other currencies where they cannot then quickly get hold of it. So they've worked out their different mechanisms, and they're very quick to latch on and take it out. I think in the debit order space, there's a lot of people trying lots and lots of small transactions and hoping that there's a good percentage that will not pick it up, will not be as diligent as you. It's the same as a phishing attack, where they send thousands of emails hoping to get a very small percentage of people that fall for it, but that still makes it lucrative enough for them to go through the effort.
That's right. The amount isn't so different to some of the other amounts going out of the account. They keep telling us to get onto the apps, but the apps is a vulnerable place for the criminals.
I think if you look at the ecosystem of a typical PC and a web browser, and where you point that web browser to, a lot of times an app can actually be more secure if the right technologies is applied. I think there's a number of good recipes that the industry is adopting worldwide now, and in some cases even enforcing, that helps protect you. Things such as two-factor authentication, out-of-band authentication are words and practices that are being used and have proven to prevent attacks from happening. You need to be vigilant. You shouldn't let your password be used in insecure places. And you should always see if you can get an out-of-band authentication, something that pushes up on your phone and wakes up in a second channel, confirming the transaction on that second channel for you before you just accept it. So fundamentally, there are a number of things in place. I think as customers, we must educate the customers, and the banks are trying to educate the customers about what these good practices are. And if they're not in place, to be vigilant and then take action and maybe notify the bank of these strange behavior.
That is Gerard Oosthuizen, he's CIO of Intersect.